Hey guys, welcome to Medellin, Colombia. Finally made it here. So day one was a complete disaster. It was about as bad of a travel day as you could probably have. I wouldn't go that far, but look, it was horrific. So I'll give you guys a rundown on what went down, how I dealt with it, and where we are now. So I guess it began when I left New York after recording the last video. Took the public transport out to JFK Airport, fly with Avianca. They had overbooked the flight, which was obviously not a good start. And then because of that, I didn't get assigned a seat, so I had to wait until after they boarded everyone else, along with a bunch of other people that were sort of in the same bucket. Eventually, I was one of the lucky ones that did manage to get on the plane, but I guess cheekily trying to bring my carry-on bag that I didn't pay for onto the plane, and they snapped me, so $105 US. Not a good start to the trip. And then I got on the plane. It was a narrow body A320 or 321 Airbus for a 6-hour long haul, and the seats had no recline. So it's not how I remember Avianca. I thought they were a pretty good airline in the past. It's been probably at least half a decade or longer since I flew with them before COVID. But it felt like they've turned into Ryanair quietly, so that wasn't a nice surprise. Definitely won't be flying with them again, I don't think, after that experience. But they got us here safely. I guess that's the main thing. Got to Bogota. I didn't even get a minute of shut. I had my eyes shut, but I was awake the entire flight, midnight to roughly 6 in the morning. So that wasn't much fun. Got to Bogota, grabbed a feed at the airport, and then got it. The transition through immigration wasn't too bad. It was about an hour. And then I had about an hour's wait until my connection with LATAM, who were much, much better, and came into Medellin at about 9:30 in the morning. And then I got in the taxi, came down to this Airbnb. Thankfully, I was able to check in early. I'd pre-arranged that. The host was pretty chill. We just had a quick walk through, and then he left. And then after he'd left and been gone for a few minutes, and I'd started unpacking my bag, I went to open my bathroom door, which is just back there, and it was locked, which is not ideal when you've just got off a long haul. It's literally the first thing you want to do is get straight into a nice hot shower, and shower was locked. So I wrote to the host and said, "Hey mate, is the key here?" And he was like, "There isn't a key for that bathroom." So don't know what happened there, but he arranged a locksmith. Half an hour later, I had these two lads turn up here, and they fucked around with the door for about 15 minutes, got it open, and then eventually they left. So I finally got a shower, headed down to the barber. I'd pre-booked an appointment online, rocked up to the barber. There was no barbers in there. There was just a receptionist. So I got chatting with her, had a drink, waited about 15 minutes. She was telling me that the barber was coming. And then after 20 minutes, I was like, "He's not coming. I'll just come back later. Tell me when to come back later." And so I rescheduled for like an hour later. And because I had other stuff to do, I had to go do a load of groceries, go find a gym to sign up to, and rescheduled that. Went and joined a gym. But obviously I skipped the workout because I was just not in any state where I was going to have a good time in the gym. It just wasn't going to be worthwhile. I was pretty zombie-eyed by this point. And then the barber appointment she wrote me a couple of times on WhatsApp. It got rescheduled and then rescheduled again, I think about 4 times in total. And I ended up getting a haircut like 5 hours after the original booking. And then went down to the supermarket and got my first load of groceries, came back to the house. Didn't manage to get everything I needed, but I scoped, as you do when you move into a new apartment, I scoped out what do I need. There's quite a few. This place is set up as an Airbnb, I guess, that most tourists probably come to and only stay for a weekend. It's not set up for long term, so there were some key items missing for preparing food in particular, like a rice cooker and just some things that I really needed. So I had to order a bunch of crap on Rappies. It's like Uber Eats, but you can get anything delivered. It's dominant in the Colombian market. It's pretty much the only option. I ordered a whole bunch of stuff, like a stack of supplements, protein, creatine, things I couldn't bring with me from New York, and then some household appliances, so some kitchen scales and bathroom scales, a rice cooker, a couple of other bits and pieces like that. The app, for some reason, decided to lock me out of my account with no warning after I'd arranged for about 6 different orders to be dropped off in the following 120 minutes. And as I discovered, have virtually no customer service anymore. You can write them through the app and sort of automated sequence if you have a problem with an order, but there's no number you can ring up. There's no quick WhatsApp you can write to where you get a response. And so I was locked out of the app with a whole bunch of delivery drivers incoming with several $100s worth of things, and I couldn't track when they were going to arrive, so I had to rely on the fact that hopefully they would ring the apartment. And the bigger problem was, the way the app works is when you place an order, it gives you a code inside the app. It gives you a unique 3-digit code which you have to give to the driver. I couldn't access my app, it literally wouldn't let me log in. It just signed me out and then wouldn't let me log back in. Tried deleting the app, re-downloading it, tried different devices, couldn't get into it. And then the phone rang, first driver was here, I went downstairs, I was like, mate, I can't give you the code. And so he's got the shit that I ordered and paid for, but he can't finish his order on his end. Like, he's unable to say, yes, delivered. So he's just stuck at my house and I can't do anything about it. I can't accept the order. And so we're stuck there. Another couple drivers turn up and it turns into this fucking scene. Now, at this point, I'd woken up in New York at 8 a.m. on Friday. By this point, it's like 6 p.m. on Saturday. I haven't got a minute of sleep. And I'm just like, the fuck? This is so typical. It was just a total Colombian situation. Things here run to a different tempo, and it's always a bit of a culture shock to me when I come to the country. I love the culture, but it takes a while to reintegrate to the pace of life here. Things like that, you almost have to just expect that you're going to lose time each day to things like that. It's like you've got a provision for it in your schedule. Like in Australia or in the United States, efficiency is the currency, right? I wouldn't have to worry about something like this happening, but in Colombia it's like the barber meeting that I booked, for example, that's only maybe it'll be at that time, but it might be 15 minutes later. And the Rappi situation, shit like that just happens. So that was day one. Ultimately, we sorted it out in the end. The drivers worked together and found a way to hack the app on their end so that they could deliver it without the code. Took about 90 minutes to get that resolution. I gave a couple of them tips for the fuck up on Rappi's part, and to this moment, I still haven't heard from Rappi's customer service. Obviously, they have a number on their website. I tried to get a hold of them. Still haven't wrote me back hours and hours later, so that's pretty funny. But that was day one. Bit of a shit show. I got everything I needed, signed up for the gym, got all the shit in the house, was absolutely knackered by 10 p.m. and I passed the fuck out and woke up about 10 hours later. And I'll run through day two and the reset and everything in the next video. See you guys then.